welcome back to online classes. Today's class will discuss a library function. There are n number of library functions in C++. Last class we have discussed what is type conversion and a very important topic, the structure of C++ concept. Today's class will discuss some of the library function. There are n number of numerous library function, but few library function we can discuss. So first one is mathematical function. What by name itself you are going to perform. If you are in a programming language, you are using a mathematical notation or mathematical function. You have to include a library function or a header file that is nothing but #include math.h. See, if you are using a mathematical functions or mathematical notations in a programming, not only to find logical functions or to find a simple expression to find out, not only there you are going to use, even a mathematical symbols or mathematical calculation can be done in your C++ programming language. I have told computer is nothing but to do some computation, to do some calculation. In such a case, if you want to find some mathematical equations or to find sort out some mathematical function, you have compulsorily to include a header file or library function math.h. #include math.h. So here some of the mathematical functions are there. So I have given the functions meaning. So these are programs in a programs where you are going to come across this mathematical function. First one is sin x. You have already studied in your schools, that is in your high school, that is about sine, cos, tan, cosec, secant, everything. And similarly, in a programming language, if you have used a sin x symbol, it is nothing but sine of an angle measured in radians. Similarly, for cos x, cosine of an angle that is measured in radians. Then tangent of an angle x measured in radians. Next, a sine of x, that is a sine of inverse of x that is measured in radians. Similarly, a cos of x, that is cosine of minus x measured in radians. Next, expression x, that is you want to find out exponential, that is a magnitude of a function. Then you use an expression exp of x, that is which particular expression you want to find out, that is exponential function. Next, logarithm function, that is log of x, that is nothing but logarithm of which number. Then logarithm to 10 of x is nothing but logarithm of x to the base 10. Suppose you are using some other base, you mention the base here. Next, square root of x, this is nothing but to find the square root of a number. You want to find the square root of a number, that is here this is measured in the terms of x. You can use any square root of, suppose square root of 64, square root of 64 is nothing but 8. Like that you are going to find. Next, power of x comma y, that is x raised to the power of y, that is power, that is POW is nothing but power 2, that is 2 to power 2 comma 3 means 2 raised to the power 3, that is power of x comma y, that is x raised to the power y. So once again I will explain. So if you are using a mathematical function, so mathematical notation in your program, you compulsorily should include a header file, that is a library function math.h. Some of the library functions are, that is a mathematical like a sine, cosine, tan, secant, that is a secant and cosec. These are all you are going to study in your 10th standard or 8th or 9th standard. So sine is nothing but sine of an angle that is measured in radians. For cos also you are going to take cosine of an angle measured in radians. Tangent of an angle measured. Then this is the inverse, a sine of x, a cos of x. Next, exponential value. Then logarithm and logarithm to the base, logarithm of x to the number, and what is its base. So log x is nothing but just a logarithm of that particular value. So you have mentioned base means logarithm of x to the base 10 is being mentioned. Next, square root of x, you want to find the square root of a number. Then what is the square root? If you are using a square root to find the square root of a number in a program, then you have to include math.h. If you are using this particular function, then your math, that is a library function, should include a header file math.h. Next, power of, when you come across a programming language, these two are coming in your lab program to find the square root of a number and to find the power of numbers. That is power of x comma y, x raised to the power of y. That is square root of 64 is nothing but 8. Power of 2 comma 3 means, for example, I am saying 2, x is here and y is 3. 2 raised to the power 3. Next, apart from these two, there is another 2 more function, that is absolute of x and fads of x. What is this absolute Here facts of x means it gives only the real number, that is absolute value of the real number. What is this adds means it gives only the integer part. Here it is going to produce only the integer part. Here facts means it is going to produce only your real number, that is your decimal part, absolute value of your real number. Both, that is your integer part as well as the real numbers can be produced in your facts, and integer part can be produced only in your adds of, that is x, absolute value of x. Then facts is nothing but absolute value of real numbers. So these are the some of the mathematical functions in your library function. Next we will discuss some of the character function. Students, next type of library function is character function. So in this character function you are going to see the different types of character function involved in your library. So if you are using a program character function, you have to include a header file, that is ctype.h, that is character type.h, that is include ctype.h. You have to include ctype.h if you are using your character functions. So there are nearly seven type of character function. One by one I will explain. So if I am using a is alpha c, that is alpha c, that is function c, that c stands for a character. If you are using this particular function, it tells what is the description for this is nothing but it returns true if c is an uppercase. Suppose for example I am taking is alpha c. C what? This is my function. If for this example I am taking is alpha t. My character is t. If I am taking, so it returns true if character, if c is nothing but its character is an upper letter. If it is an uppercase letter, it is going to return true. Here otherwise if false means if it is c is a lowercase, that is character. C stands for your character. What is the character? I am taking t for example. For this it returns true. If I am taking a small t, for example, it returns false. Because the alphabetic character in function c, it is in uppercase means it is going to return true. If it is in lowercase means it is going to return false. That is the first function of is alpha c. Next is digit c. So is digit c means is digit character, it returns true if c is in a digit from 0 to 9. So if I am using is digit c is nothing but 7. It can be a digit, that is character from 0 to 7. It returns true. If some other character or some other symbol, it is going to return false. If I am using is digit function, it should be character should be 0 to 9. If it is a character, it returns true. If some other characters like alphabetics or some other symbols, it is going to return false. So that is nothing but is digit c. Next is alphanumeric, that is alphabetic numeric c. That is it returns true if the given character is, that is c is digit from 0 to 9, or it can be an alphabetic, that it can be an uppercase or lowercase. Otherwise that is alpha numeric means of c means it returns true. Okay, it is returns true if I am using alphanumeric, it can be 0 to 9, or it can be a to z or small a to z. If it contains, this character contains either alphabetic or either numeric, then means it is going to return true. If I am using some other symbol, any symbols or some other sign, then it is going to return false. Apart from this, it is going to return false. That is alphanumeric, that is alphabetic numeric character c. It returns true if c is a digit from 0 to 9. If c stands for character, whatever character inside that function, if you are using a digit from 0 to 9 also, it will return true. Or it can be any alphabetic, it can be an uppercase or lowercase, then also it is going to return true. Apart from these three, that is numeric as well as the alphabetic, if apart from any other sign or symbol or any other character set symbols, if I use, then it is going to return false. Next is lower c. That is what it says. It returns true if c is a lowercase. Otherwise it is false. Here in your is alphabetic c. It can be Here it should be in lowercase, otherwise it is false. Next, to upper. It converts a given character to uppercase. To lower. It converts a given character to lowercase. See the difference? Here it is going to check it returns true if the character is in lowercase. If it is in uppercase, what is this lowercase means? Lowercase means small a, that is a to small z. That is we call as the small lowercase. Uppercase means your capital ABCD. This we call as the uppercase. So if your is lower, if you are given, if is lower function C, whatever C, let it be small t. If it is written, if your return is lower r, okay, this will return true. If you use a capital R, it returns false. Similarly, is upper means it should be in capital R means it is true. If it is in small r, for example, it returns false. It will convert the given case. If you have taken a small is to upper, if you have taken to upper character, to upper L. If you use a small l, it will be converted to capital L. Similarly, to lower, if you have used in a capital L, that will be converted into small l. That is nothing but to upper C to lower C. It is going to convert your character to uppercase. Here it is going to convert your character to lowercase. So these are the functions under character function. Next we will see what is string function. In a character function you have studied 7 different types of functions. Students, the third function in a library function is string.h. If your program you are using a string function, then you have to include a header file include string.h. You have to include string. If a program consists of if you are using a string, any of the string function, then you have to include in your library function called string function. That is nothing but for that header file is include string.h. We have seen mathematical function and character function. The next function is your string function. So there are n number of string functions are there in your library functions. First one by one function we will see under your string function. There are n number of string function in your string. For one by one. First is string. The str stands for string length of s, whatever given string. So what is this str that we call as the string length? What it tells means it gives the number of characters including the spaces present in a string. What is suppose if I give an example I take here, if str length of C++ is a program. I have given example C++ is a program. I have already got string should be enclosed with a double quotes. So what is the length of the string means? So it takes 1, 2, 3, even the space 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It is going to give the length of the string is nothing but 16 characters is present in a given string. C++ is a program. Once again I say string length of S. S stands for a string. Whatever string you have given in S. Suppose for example I have put string length of, that is what is my string means C++ is a program. It is going to count the number of characters including spaces, including a space in a given string. That is nothing but the string length of S. Example, str length, that is C++ is a program. I am going to count the characters and the number of characters present is 16 number of characters is being present in your given string. That is the first function in your string. Second function is string cat. That is what is this CAT stands for? Concatenate. It is going to concatenate. What is this concatenate means? It is going to join, that is the end S2 is being joined with the end of the string 1. What it means? For example, here string cat, what is this str means string concatenate. CAT stands for concatenate. It is going to append S2 to the end of string S1. They are taking two strings S1 and S2 thing. To the end of S1, I am going to concatenate S2. I am going to append, I am going to join to S2 to the end of the string S1. What it tells us, for example, you consider string cat. Okay, my S1 string. What is my S1 string? You think red. My My S2 string is rows. So I want to join these two, concatenate these two means I have used S1 comma S2. Okay, what it does means it's going to, that is what will be the result of string cat means, that is S2 will be joined to the end of the string. So S1 is red, to the end of the string red rows will be concatenated, and S1 and S2 okay will be concatenated. The red rows will be stored in your S1. So S1 storage location should be maximum, so that whenever you use a concatenate function or you are going to use a copy function, the result will be stored in your string 1, that is your first string, that is string 1 function. So S2 is being joined with concatenated to end of the S1, and the overall, that is the result, will be stored in S1 string, that is content will be stored in your S1 string. So S1 location should be maximum enough to store the function of string cat, that is both S1 and S2, that is S1 is red means S2 I am taken rows. So I am going to join these two, append these two or concatenate two means, so the end of S1, S2 will be joined or concatenated. So red rows will be stored in your location of S1. S1 when you open and see, where you go into cross check means S1 will add the value of red rows. So that is the function of string concatenate or string cat. Next, third function, what it tells means, third function string copy. So string copy means, here string cat means you are going to appending or you are going to concatenate or join one string to the end of the one string, you are going to append the another string. String copy means it copies S2 to S1. What it tells means, suppose string copy S1 comma S2. So S1 you have same thing right, S2 you have rows. So S2 okay will be, that is S2 what is there, rows. Rows will be copied to S1. When you go and check S1 you have rows. The red will not be present in your S1. That is, it's going to copy S2 to S1. It copies S2 to S1. That is nothing but string copy. That is, string 2 will be copied to string 1. That is, it copies S2 to S1. Next, this is about difference between string length and string cat and string compare. Concatenate means it's going to append, that is end of one string, it's going to append the another string. String copy, that is nothing but the second, that is the one string is copied to another string. It copies S2 to S1. Here also S1 location should be, suppose S2 has a large number of characters. So if S1 has a minimum number of spaces, it cannot be copying of that result of error information. The space will not be enough. So S1 storage should be large enough to hold this string of S2. So that is nothing but your string copy. S2 is copied to S1. Next, another function where that is nothing but string compare. There are three ways of string comparing. What it tells means, you are going to compare the string. Here, if both the when you compare S1 and S2, if both the string is same, right? Suppose S1 also has the value of red, even case sensitive, it also should be. Suppose if I have taken R in capital, here also should be R should be in capital. In such a case means, it's going to say it will produce the result as 0. That is, it gives that it is true. It gives the condition true. Suppose that is if both the string is equal, it is going to compare two strings whether it is equal, greater than or lesser than. First condition is going to check the string whether it is equal. If S1 is equal to, that is S1 string is equal to S2, it is going to result is, that is nothing but 0, that is true. Suppose that is the first condition. If S1 string should be greater than S2, that is the number of characters present in here, it is for the equal condition. If S1 string should be greater than S2, the number of characters present in S1 should be greater than S2. In such a case, it is going to produce the result as true. If S1 character is less, that is S1 string is less than S2, then it is going to give the result as true. If not, it is going to produce the result as false. That is about that is here it will consider the case sensitive. Case sensitive. See, if you check even the cases, if string S1 should be, if it is written in a lower case, even string S2 should be in lower case. then only it is equal condition satisfied. And here string S1, here also string whatever given the characters in S2 also, if when you going to compare, it's check for the case sensitive. It should be lower case or upper case. That is nothing but it's a case sensitive. I have already told C++ is a case sensitive. It check for the, it will treat lower case itself different, upper case itself different. So for this is in order to check along with case sensitive. You want to ignore the lower case or upper case. You want to not go for the ignoring the whatever character. It can be typed in upper case, that is your capital letters or small case. In such a case, you are going to include the I indicating it is going to ignoring the case. It is in case sensitive. In case sensitive. Here it is case sensitive. Here it is in case sensitive. It does not matter for whether the string is written in upper case or lower case. That is the difference between strcmp, string compare and string compare I. If it is without I means it consider the case sensitive. It will consider upper case itself different, lower case itself different. So if the same letter only if written in a different characters or upper case and lower case, then it considers a different string. But here when you want to ignore the case or in case sensitive you want to take it, then you have to represent with I. I indicates ignoring or in case sensitive. That is ignoring the case. Same functionality for string compare S1 and greater than or lesser than. But here it consider the case sensitive. Here it not consider the case sensitive. That is in case sensitive, ignoring the case. So that is the difference, but functionality is same. Next, other three is nothing but string reverse S. STRREV stands for reverse. Whatever string you are given. So here it takes only one string. For copy, concatenate and string compare it consider two strings. But string length, string reverse, string upper, string lower it consider only one string. Only single string. So str reverse of S means, so str, so S is nothing but you think it is ring. Okay, ring. I want to reverse this particular string. That is S means it will be in the reverse order. That is G, N, I, R. It is going to reverse the string. It is going to reverse your given string into a reverse. It is going to reverse its string. That is nothing but str reverse. Next you have str uppercase. That is it converts a given string. If you are given in any case, it will be a lower case and or upper case mixed both together. But everything will be converted to your upper case. Suppose here we consider str upper of S. So here it is ring. S is ring, no. So if I take this one str of upper means what will be the S? This will be done in upper case means everything will be converted into RING. So that is nothing but string reverse. Sorry, string uppercase. Next string lower case is nothing but we are going to lower the case. Everything will be lowered into RING. That is the difference between your string upper and string lower. So string reverse means it is going to reverse the given string. Whatever string is given, it just be quite opposite. Reverse the word or reverse the string. But string upper means it is going to convert the given string into upper case. Everything will be converted into upper case. And what string lower means the given string will be converted into a lower case. That is nothing but your string lower. So this is about your string function. Next we will see what is console input output functions. Students, the next is console input output functions. If you are using what is this console means, you are going to use a Conio notation. You are using the file include co Conio notation. What that is nothing but console input output header files. If you are using these kind of function get cal, put cal, gets, puts, get ch, get cht, I'll explain what is this. If you are using a function like this in your programming that is in your programming language, in such a case you have to include a header file include conio.h. That is nothing but conio stands for console input output header file. .h I have already told. Every header file will end with the .h. .h indicates is an header file. Is nothing but is a preprocessor directives. Include is a macro. It tells the compiler, the preprocessor tells the compiler to First include the header files in your, so that is in your source program, and first the header file will be included, that is the linker section will be included, then the apart from the other program section will be compiled. So what is this there? Nearly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 functions are there. One by one we'll see. Get char means it takes a single character. This is char is nothing but character. Get is nothing but you are going to get the character from the standard library function. What's the difference between your get char and get means? Here get char, gets, get ch, get che. These are all nothing but you are getting a character from your standard input. What's the difference between a get char, gets, get ch, get che? What's the difference between these two? I'll explain. First, get char gets a character from a standard library input, that is nothing but std, standard input function. But get ch is not non-standard library. It does not use any standard library function or std.in. It gets directly from the one of the standard input devices like keyboard. But you are also getting the data from the keyboard, but it will be stored in your library function, standard library function. That is nothing but std.in. In is nothing but your input standard library function. So, and here does not take any arguments, it does not pass any value to the functions. But here put character, it takes one character. Character means one, that is a single character. It takes one argument and send whatever character you have got from the input as the keyboard, that character will be sent to the output. That is, you are outputting the devices, that is your character to the output device. You are sending the character to the output device. Next, gets is nothing but you are going to get the string. Here you are going to get the character, single character. Here you are going to get the character, that is a non-standard library function. You are going to get the string, not as character. You are going to get the group of characters, that is string. And here it takes the string, whatever after getting you want to display to a monitor. So it takes as an argument as that string and send to the output devices. So what's the difference between get ch, get che? Means when you are using these are all included in a library function called Fourier.h, that is console input output.h. Here get character, get che. What's the difference between these means? These two are a non-standard library function. In get ch, it does not display character. It does not display character. It does not display character. It does not echo a character. That is, does not display a character to the screen. That is not display a character or not pass the character. It does not echo. E stands for echo, display. But get ch, it echoes, that is displays a character. It displays a character. It displays the character. So here get ch means again it's a non-standard library, it's non-standard function. You are getting a character from the input devices like keyboard. Both also get the data from the keyboard. It's not a library. It does not have any standard library function like getchar. But get ch here it does not display the characters, it echoes the character, it does not display the characters on the screen. But get ch e stands for echoes, it displays the characters into the screen. That is the difference between get ch and get che. E stands for echo. So these are the sum of the library function and the console input output function. The last function also in your particular syllabus is nothing but the other function in your C++. Next we will see the other function in your C++. The last topic in this particular chapter is general purpose standard library function. What is the generally purposely used library function means? So there are four different types of function. First one is randomized function. What is this randomized statement? It initializes the random number generator with random number. What it tells means it's going to initialize. Suppose I am given the 0 to 99. Okay, my random, that is a initializer. This is my number 0 to 99. Okay, here it's going to randomize means it's going to initialize. It's going to fix what is the from 0 to 99. What is my randomized number? It starts from 0 to 99. What is the randomized maximum randomized number? Means it's going to generate the maximum number, that is 100. 0 to 99. The randomized number between 0, for example, between 0 to 99 means it's going to take random number of maximum, that is 100. That is the difference. That is the functionality of a randomize. It's going to initialize a random number for the given that is generator with a random number. Next, random function. What is this random function is? It's going to generate a random number between the range 0 to n minus 1. Suppose between the range 0 to n, you think n is 5 means n minus of 1 is nothing but 4. Between 0 to 4, it's going to generate a random number that is done by the functionality called random. Next, another functionality A to IS. What is this A to means? It converts a given string, that is string, to an integer, that is to a numerical representation. A to IS means it converts a given string to a numerical representation. Next, another one thing, I to AN means it converts a given number to a string. See, once again explain. Randomize means between, it's going to initialize a random number with a generator of random number. What it tells means, you are given some range. Within that range, it's going to consider the maximum random number. It itself initializes a maximum number. That is nothing. For example, 0 to 99 means the randomized value of the 0 to 99 is nothing but it's 100. Next, random means between the range 0 to n minus 1, it's going to generate a random number between these range whatever given in your function, in your particular given number. Next, we're going to convert a given string A to I means it's going to convert a given string to the numerical representation. That is nothing but A to I, yes. Then I to AN means it's going to convert numbers to a string. These are the general purpose standard library function. So till here it completes this particular chapter, Introduction to C++. So we have seen the what is C++, how it came into existence, what in that what is a feature, that is we have studied in 6th chapter object oriented concept. In introduction of C++, how it came into existence, who developed it in particular year, everything we have discussed. Then we have gone to tokens. In tokens we have studied 5 different types of tokens. Apart from the tokens, we have gone to the type conversion. Then we have seen the structure of C++, how a structure can be well designed manner, programming language, with help of programming language, how we are going to design a C++, that is a structure of C++. Then we have seen some of library function like mathematical function, string function, character function, console, input output function, and in console what is all get character, get ch, get and get che, what's the difference, put character, puts. Then apart from that, last topic is nothing but standard library function. In that we have seen 4 different types: randomize, random, that is converting from string to integer, integer to, that is your numerical representation, not integer, numerical representation, then number to a string. So till here we have completed the 7th chapter, Introduction to C++. If you have any questions arise, put it in your assignment question. Next we'll see in a new chapter. Thank you.